There he is.
Matt Crevin, there he is.
What's up, Matt?
Greetings, gentlemen.
Greetings.
90 degrees in Seattle. That's all I got to say. It's hot.
Hey, I'm on Whidbey Island. It's not as hot as it is in the downtown area.
I joke and lead with that because it's news. When it's 90 in Seattle and air conditioning is truly a luxury item, I got to just lead with that. But anyway, I appreciate the opportunity to chat with you both.
Oh, man. Well, just the voice alone, right? So I know you have some great experiences using that voice, and one that a lot of people wonder, how do I get involved with? But are you still the PA announcer for the Niners?
I am, and that's kind of there's a long story, and I'll make it short and sweet for the sake of what we've got going on here. But I'm born and raised in the Bay Area, and then Blaine, I just heard you're from, or you're up here now. I'm not sure if you're from the Northwest. I've been in Seattle for 13 years, but been involved with the 49ers. If there is going to be a season, this will be my 28th season, 21 doing the announcing. The first 7, I just worked as a PR assistant. So a tremendous entree. That was my first job right out of school back in 1991. For those that are football historians, and we're getting way off track here. That was Joe Montana's last year, was my first year. A lot of lessons that I learned there. And what a segue that I'm making for myself right now. But that lesson that I learned working in that NFL locker room with the likes of Joe Montana, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, et cetera, was, you know what, it was thrust upon me early. Got to have the ability to communicate clearly and confidently with a wide variety of people, whether they're athletes, members of the national media, my colleagues, and everyone in between. That's kind of the cornerstone of what I do with Talk Shop. So sorry, that was a little bit of a segue for myself.
No, but I think the spirit of excellence is one which carries forward in our careers, and things don't happen overnight. It's interesting, as you say, 7 years as a PR assistant, most of the people quit before they get to the 7th year. And yet now there's another 21 years that you get to experience something even more exceptional, and then even parlay that into, what you do. And I think it's really important for entrepreneurs and people to understand how business evolves and how we may not start where we want to be, but we angle towards where we want to be. And sometimes, and I'm sure if I asked you as you graduated in 91 as a PR assistant into the Niners, probably one of the greatest franchises at the greatest times, where do you want to end up? It probably would have not been the PA announcer.
Absolutely not. I probably would have stayed in that track. That's pretty clear, I think. I was living, there's such the expression, I'm living the dream. At that point, as a young, fresh out of college kid, being grateful for the opportunity to be in the NFL and with that particular franchise at that particular time, absolutely. I thought that's the track. That's the bus I want to be on. And I knew there was tons of personal growth and development that was just going to be coming my way. No, would have never in my wildest dreams thought I'd be the PA guy. I thought it would have been something different. But you know what, David and Blaine, that opportunity presented so many doors that opened up, and I had to put my work into it. But a big piece, and I don't know, I can't speak for you guys, but for me, it's always been, how do I communicate to a wide variety of people, whether these are people I was in awe of at the time. And you look at that in the business community, when I got into the business side of the world, with FedEx and Microsoft, being in boardrooms and being with, look, we all have egos, athletes, business folks, we all have them, but just learning how to be clear and be confident. How do I articulate my vision? How do I do it with impact and clarity? Now what I do with Talk Shop, I really work with high school and college students to get them to develop these skills, because it's needed now more than ever. Just conversations, number one, conversations that are clear and to the point, whether you're resolving conflict, whether it's you need to advocate for yourself with your tutor, your coach at home, whatever that might look like. The ability to communicate clearly with people, in my humble opinion, and those of others, it's dissipating because of technology. Yep. Tech's not going away. Phones are pretty powerful. They're tools. We all use them. But now more than ever, conversations face to face, or in this case, me looking at a bright light, which is the best eye contact I can give. It's just so crucial right now, especially as these college students should really be branding themselves. If they meet with both of you, for example, they've been granted an opportunity to interview with either of you. They've got to be prepared. We all know that cliche. I help them get prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And beyond peer branding, I'm gonna let you go, man. I just want to mention to kids out there, because they a lot watch this stuff. When he says prepared, it's not just prepared, meaning, know and be more interested about the company you're interviewing, about the person that's interviewing. I see kids all the time. I know they really have done their work for years, perfect grades at an Ivy League school. They have a desire to must be what they can be. They're over-informed. I can tell during the interview, they're over-informed about details of my life and my journey, etc. They must have memorized Wikipedia. I don't know how they do all this stuff, but without your help, if you can't articulate the value and share a vision, all of that goes to waste. And I've seen it, especially as my brand has grown and people get more and more nervous, especially high school and college students. They get more and more nervous just sitting in front of you, which I take as a huge compliment and I'm in disbelief over. Sure. But if you can't articulate it, they might walk out of there. And I see so much more from the record than they're able to articulate to me. And I just wanted to reiterate that, because you said you prepare them, you really give that last mile, which is a critical mile when we're communicating.
Absolutely. And look, having a brand, whether it's your digital brand, which in my humble opinion, that's the easy part. We can all come up with a LinkedIn profile. We can all come up with a resume or have someone write it for us. At the end of the day, Dave, someone's meeting with you or Blaine with you, and they just don't know how to articulate what's on paper. It's not going to match up. So It's a competitive landscape. Number one, more so now than ever, just the job market. So we all are looking, college students specifically, got to find a competitive differentiator. What better way than to be able to communicate who you are clearly and with confidence? Yeah, the research, all those pieces that you mentioned, absolutely important.
Yeah,
but having the ability to verbalize that is absolutely what Talk Shop is all about.
Beautiful. Yeah, the idea of competitive differentiator. I think the easiest way for people to understand what that competitive differentiator is relationship. Yeah, and that relationship bucket takes a whole lot of different forms. But I mention that because conversation, effective conversation, is the lifeblood of an effective relationship. If I can't converse effectively, and I go back to what Virginia Satir talked about, communication is the ways, plural, that we work out common meaning with one another. And a lot of people confuse communication with words and with just throwing stuff out there. Communication's about meaning generation. It's about actually landing with somebody and being able to resonate with them. And if you're going to be successful in life, you've got to be able to create and sustain high quality relationship. And the way you do that is not through text. You do it through conversation. And I love what you're up to with your face-to-face work. It's, technology is not going to go away, but we can't throw the baby out with the bath.
And Blaine, I'm just going to do this. This is a nod of understanding right now. So let me just say, yes, I agree. And I'm just going to add, if you don't mind, because what you said is absolutely spot on. But because technology is it's present, it's omnipresent. And like you said, it's not going away. I think what it's done, and it's pretty clear, it's created more of monologues. Look, it's conversation, to your point, it's two-way. And right now it's becoming more and more one-way. We just easily to push out information, whether you want to tweet it, I'll leave that alone. If you want to put it out, whatever your platform is, we can do it daily, hourly. But it's just, that's just pushing out information. Conversations, and what I do in the group workshops or the one-on-one coaching is letting these students know, today's emerging adults, that a conversation is two-way. You only get to control one piece of that. That's how you put your information out. You cannot control how it's received, but you can be in a better position if you let the natural give and take of a conversation happen. And you're right, it does. That enriches our relationships, business, personal. So I just wanted to add that because I completely agree with you.
Well, and you're talking about the group setting and the one-on-one setting. One of the things, I have 3 teenage daughters, 2 that are in college, and they were talking about the lack of things that they're able to do. One's at Tulane and one's at IU. And I said, your specific course, I said, look, this is an opportunity, just like I've had an opportunity to learn more and to take inventory and to do all the things that you were complaining about, in traditional education, and use specific skills, specific knowledge that you can gain and relationships that you can gain in order to effectuate, true success early on in your career. And, they don't teach this at college. right? They don't teach entrepreneurship. They have entrepreneurship programs just like they have sports law programs in law school. But I've never met a lawyer that graduated law school and knew how to practice law. And it's even worse for college graduates, right? I am bewildered, that any kid, I'm almost happy that the economy had dropped some, at least the employment, so that at least people, I can get some real quality talent into my office. I don't have to say they know everything, but I have to teach you everything. I never got that connection. But this communication, if parents aren't out there looking at this saying, our kids are getting fed a different form of communication. And if you want to distinguish yourself, I tell people all the time, there's two things. One, just toughness. I know you come from a football background. I believe in toughness. I think too many people get their feelings hurt and they vote for what other people want because their feelings are hurt. They're afraid of having people laugh at them, scoff at them, and make fun of them and tell them no. I'm not afraid of that. And I'm teaching as many people as I can to be tough. But the interesting one is telephone. And when I say telephone, I'm now going to increase it to include this type of telephone conversation. Telephony is two people. It's duplex, meaning you can interrupt somebody, right? It's not a monologue, and it's that full duplex conversation, which is telephony, that exists now in visual context, FaceTime or this or Zoom or the other ones that they have. But it's so essential because the numbers, we were forced to do it I graduated in 90, you were 91. We were forced to do it, right? I see a terrifying thing that people will not have full duplex conversations, and those that know how will just kill it, because I know one thing about society, there's always something to sell. And if you can't speak and communicate and share a vision and articulate value and speak with full duplex in intonation and connotation, there's no way you can share a vision, and you are going to stand out if you are tough and no telephony beyond belief. And you're someone who's teaching both of those, because I know the attitude side of what you teach beyond just the communicative side.
No, absolutely. And I agree. It's look, being tough in the sports, vernacular is one piece. Yeah, being mentally tough is a piece of this. You're right. There's a lot of people that are sensitive, maybe more now than ever. There are lots of elements. I'm not going to go down that path, but by a byproduct of, and I'll just use maybe the Tulane and the IU as an example. I'm not going to say this is what's happening with your kids, but I know it's out there because I work with college kids all the time, and roommate scenarios. They're challenged. They might have what they deem is a hard conversation to have. Do I want to roommate with Susan or Janet? And I don't know how to say it. And so they won't have that conversation. Yeah. And there's nothing good that comes from not having it. Even if you both agree to disagree, have the conversation is what I coach people through. But if it's in their mind, if it's something that's just a really hard or challenging conversation to have, there's an easy way to just a 3-step process of how to have a conversation like that. And by the way, I step parents through that when I do parent ed talks too. I use that same how to have that hard conversation because it's hard for parents as well. And I'll raise my hand. I used to be one of them, meaning I'm still a parent, meaning I used to be one of them that would have a hard time having those conversations. So I see a lot of the gamut, but again, I think where I put my focus is, look, in the business sense, I don't know if you guys are Shark Tank watchers back in the day or maybe even today, but you look at that as a pretty extreme spotlight environment. You've got to come out and pitch your presentation, and it better be sharp. That's a pretty extreme case, but there's a lot of element of truth to that of, look, you've got that one opportunity. And you may not hit all of them, but if you capture one person's attention there, then you've done your job. So whether it's in sales, whether you're in business for yourself, but really I focus on how do you get that first job from a position of strength. That's what this is all about. So I hope that helps.
Now I have a TV show elevator pitch with 60 seconds to pitch. Now I have 2-minute drill. I've lengthened it to 2 minutes thinking it'd be easier. Hasn't changed the communication at all. Anyway, but Blaine, you want to finish this off for us?
No, I just want to thank you, Matt. People can find out more about Talk Shop podcast by going to, I'm assuming, the regular places, Apple, Spotify, whatnot.
It's actually, and I appreciate the opportunity. It's actually not a podcast to be open about it. It's a series of programs where I deliver them live, whether it's workshops over webinar at this point, Zoom, whether it's one-on-one coaching. These are programs that I deliver. So, and the website is probably the best place for people to just get any information. Then they can track me down from there. But it's talkshop.company. It's kind of a unique URL. So it's talkshop.company. And they can learn more if they want to pick up the phone or email me and explore what the programs are all about. The high school program, the college age student program, that's probably the best way. So I hope you don't mind me correcting you there, but I just wanted to make sure that I set the expectation right.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
We're both getting old. You got to hang in there with us. Thank you for your patience. And it's the end of. Well, we appreciate you. I'm going to give you a call because I want both my girls enrolled. Absolutely. I'm spending so much for classes I don't think they'll ever use, especially now online. I just got my college bill. I'm like, are you kidding me? And they're not even going to be in class. I'm going to go sign up for Matt's course. Who cares if it's a little bit extra? We're in.
Well,
so
I appreciate that. And I'll look forward to staying in touch. And Blaine and David, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Matt, great having you on. Appreciate
we'll have
what
you
you
back
do.
on. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Great business, by the way. Thank you.